Buckle up your pant legs, zip up your hats, and Norse up your names. It's time for Sounds About Light, a podcast about Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Dark Road? I think it's called. I'm Sam.
I'm Drew.
We're back in the chibi-verse.
We are. Sam, do you remember how, like, just a little bit ago, we watched Mickey Mouse do the coolest shit you've ever seen?
Uh-huh.
And then Sora was in this, like, amazing, like, I don't know, this amazing scape of, like, stars and lights and shooting stuff around and how cool everything looked. Mm-hmm. And, you know, just this really big climactic battle where we got to see all of our friends and characters that we've grown to care about along the way.
Uh-huh.
And that's really good. But what if we watched a bunch of losers we don't give a shit about run around in Alice in Wonderland for like an hour?
I'm a little confused. What are you trying to suggest about my guy Hermod?
I am going to suggest that I didn't remember that was one of their names.
Well, I was going to ask what you think, but I think I've got my answer.
Yeah, I don't like this very much, but, like most of these things, I'm assuming that it's all going to be really good right at the end, basically.
Maybe this is another recoded situation, because I remember watching this for the first time and being kind of bored out of my mind for a lot of it, but I actually thought it was kind of interesting revisiting it.
Okay, well, I'm excited to hear why you think that.
They're getting into, like, questions of ethics in Keyblade journalism.
Yeah, they are. They are like babies' first philosophy, which makes sense because they're babies, but I don't know.
I think they're supposed to be like 18 or 19, but they look like babies. They look like little tiny babies.
Oh, okay. I thought that they were like, okay. I was assuming they were like Ventus age for some reason, because they're...
It's really hard to tell for some reason.
Yeah, it is hard to tell, especially from the way they talk and act and everything else. Whatever, we should just get into it.
Yeah,
I think that, actually, last thing I'll say, I think that maybe I'm not looking forward to them trying to rehabilitate Xehanort in any way, and so I think maybe I'm coming into it with a little bit of negativity in general.
Well, you better watch out for that negativity, or you might just start making some unversed, am I right?
Yeah, or creating darkness. That was the only interesting thing we talked about, I think, was how darkness is formed. That part was interesting.
This is the next mobile game. It is the same app as Union Cross, so I believe that the title is officially Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Dark Road. If I'm wrong, who cares? We start with a little montage of Kingdom Hearts key clips, which end with Dennis crying as Ephemer and Skuld find him in the Keyblade graveyard, and teenage Xehanort wakes up crying on the beach on the Destiny Islands.
I was so sad to see this fake Dennis without the crown.
Oh, yes, I should say, first of all, this footage was recorded by the Kingdom Hearts YouTube channel Everglow. Thank you, Everglow, for your good work. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% on this, but I think that Dark Road always shows default player character. And hashtag not my Dennis.
Yeah. I do not blame this YouTuber for not cutting in footage from Deimos videos.
That would be weird, actually.
That'd be pretty weird, but reason, yeah.
The default player character for Union Cross looks like a Final Fantasy X, like, random Albed NPC guy to me.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a baldy middle-aged guy a little bit.
Yeah, he looks like a loser, which I guess is appropriate for Dennis. No offense, Dennis.
Yeah, no offense, Dennis, but you're not great.
You're addicted to microtransactions. But yeah, teenage Xehanort is on the Destiny Islands, and he wakes up crying from the Dennis dream, and he says, "That dream again." So he's dreaming Dennis dreams, and he's a little sad boy.
Do you think this was still when they were trying to trick people into thinking that Dennis was reincarnated Xehanort?
I honestly don't know, because my understanding of the situation there is that don't quote me on this, I might be wrong about this, but I know there were some cutscenes that were changed at some point. I think that they might have actually gone back and changed the cutscene to make it more clear that Dennis isn't Xehanort. I think it was an accidental implication.
Gotcha, because if they were trying to keep that deception going, this would be a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think that I've spoiled a twist that... You know what, though? If if it was supposed to eventually be a twist that actually Xehanort wasn't Dennis, that's just a stupid twist. Because that would mean that they were like, twist, Dennis becomes Xehanort, double twist, no he doesn't. That was just a misleading cutscene. So if I am spoiling a twist that's coming, whatever. It deserves to be spoiled.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
But this is a little bit of narration from young Xehanort. He explains that he's always had this dream, a world of unfamiliar faces, unfamiliar goodbyes, like he's experiencing a life that belonged to somebody else. And he wonders if maybe beyond that vast ocean out there, his friends from the dreams might be waiting for him. And he just sort of passes his days on the islands monotonously until one day, Brown Bag Ansem shows up and says, "Hello, you're my waypoint." And he says, "Okay."
He takes it in stride.
Yeah.
Which I suppose, yeah.
My interpretation of this is that this is his perspective after forgetting the time travel stuff.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, is it though?
But
has he?
I don't know.
Well, because he does the time travel and then forgets about. Because no, I thought that what happens is he does the time travel and then forgets that he did the time travel, but the memories are kind of there in his heart, but he can't access.
Yeah, I guess. Well, he does say in Dream Drop Distance he didn't know that the hooded figure was his future self. So I guess I don't know. I don't know when this narration is intended to be from, quote unquote.
Right.
It doesn't really matter, though. The point is that Ansem says, "Hey, your dream worlds do exist. This island is like a prison. Don't you agree? Do you want to live out your days here forever? Don't answer that. Here's a portal. Have fun." And then he goes through the portal.
Yeah.
And it takes him to Scala ad Kylum.
Yeah, now we've seen this for like the third or fourth time.
Yep. We'll keep them coming.
Yeah.
We do get a little bit more insight into the journey itself later, but for now, he goes through the portal and we skip some time ahead. He's talking to Eraqus. They've clearly known each other for some time now, and they're on the little kind of dock-looking area where Sora arrives in Kingdom Hearts 3, if that matters. I don't really know what to call this, but we're going to be seeing this place a bit. Eraqus, we learn that they've been summoned by their Keyblade master, but they're both kind of lazy boys, so they're just hanging out and taking their sweet time.
Mm-hmm.
Which we will find out, the stakes are pretty high for them to be doing this right now.
Yeah, which they don't know yet.
Yeah, maybe their teacher could have been better at communicating. Maybe that just kind of is the way of a Keyblade master.
Could be. Yeah, they're not really good at telling their charges about anything, frankly.
No. Eraqus learned from the best. Eraqus asks Xehanort, what was life like outside of Scala ad Kylum before you got here? And Xehanort, he kind of... It seems like he doesn't want to talk about it. He might even be pretending not to remember, but he kind of dodges the question. He like just says, "Oh, I don't know. I just like fell out of the sky." And Eraqus is like, "Okay."
Yeah, and this was where like Xehanort has had memory loss a lot, so I couldn't remember if he was lying or had real memory loss.
He's been hit on the head a lot, and it'll happen again.
It's like in Lost. He just keeps getting bonked.
Yeah. One of the last things that ever happens to him as an old man is getting hit in the head really hard with a Keyblade a bunch.
That's true. Yeah, actually.
So, Eraqus is like, "Oh, come on, you didn't fall out of the sky. Like, tell me where you came from." And Xehanort says, "Well, maybe I did. You'll have to keep an open mind if you ever want to beat me at chess someday, idiot." And then they go to class. Friendship. Gotta love these two.
Yeah, that's what it looks like, right?
Yeah. I think one of my problems with Dark Road, and I kind of like Dark Road, I'm still not sure how I'm going to feel about it watching the whole thing again, but we've got a new cast of characters, and most of them are kind of nothing, and even Eraqus is kind of nothing, and even Xehanort is kind of nothing.
Yeah.
Well, let's meet that new cast.
I thought you were going to have something more to say about that. Yeah, no, that's how I feel too.
I don't really have that. I mean, literally, here's what I've got in my notes. So we've got 4 new classmates already gathered in the classroom. They all have Norse mythology names. We've got Hermod, a boy who is kind of nice. Bragi, a boy who is kind of cool. Vore, a girl who is kind of nice, and Erd, a girl who is kind of cool. Anything else to say?
Right. I'll never remember who they are.
Yep.
That's my that's my solemn promise.
I can tell you one thing, which is that there is a fan theory that Vore was going to turn out to be Kyrie's grandma. So feel free to keep that in mind as you watch.
Okay. I'll keep it in mind.
Just something to think about. Xehanort and Eraqus show up, and everyone looks at them and says, "You guys have weird names. Where did you get those weird names?" We do get a little bit of, like, teen Eraqus characterization that is going to be referenced quite a lot in a very, like, first draft writing way, which is that everyone is just saying all the time, "Eraqus, you're always late and you like running away."
Yeah, is that supposed to be a reference to what ends up happening in Birth by Sleep?
I don't think so, because it feels completely different from the Eraqus that we know. Granted, this is teenage Eraqus and that's old man Eraqus, so that's not like a problem. It just feels like very ham-fisted writing to have the characters just keep saying... I mean, Eraqus literally, like, does a smirk and goes, "Haha, just call me Tardy Fleetfoot."
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't like that.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Some of my not
Eraqus.
like... Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't be late all the time, dude. It's rude. I don't like it.
This guy sucks. You thought you didn't like him as an old man when he tried to kill Ventus? Look at him now.
Yeah, I didn't like it when he tried to kill Ventus, and he tried to kill... Didn't he also try to kill Terra?
He did try to kill Terra.
Yeah, he tries to kill all the students and is bad, and then we're supposed to think he's a cool guy? No, thank you.
Well, let's see if he kills any students here.
Okay. That's ominous.
I'm not saying he will. Let's just see.
Let's see what happens, yeah.
There are two people missing right now. They have another classmate named Baldr, and their teacher, Master Odin. This is where we learn that this is not a normal day of class. Odin called them here suddenly for something very serious that they were all just hanging out about. And then Odin shows up, and that's the prologue. And now we start. These are all numbered, titled episodes. This is the beginning of episode 1, Unexpected Departure, if anyone cares. I don't, but I wrote it down, so now you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. It is interesting that these all have little names, I guess. That's kind of fun.
It's a fun twist on the format, I guess.
Yeah.
Helps me to break it up.
Yeah. Oh, there's that too, yeah.
Odin tells the students that all of the 7 upperclassmen who were about to have their Mark of Mastery exam have gone missing while preparing. And we learn about this preparation is that they were given rare permission to travel and broaden their horizons before coming home for the Mark of Mastery exam. Normally, there's a rule that you can't visit other worlds, but that rule is waived before the exam, which doesn't really make sense to me.
They basically say, like, we have a prime directive where we don't get to go mess with other worlds, except for you do get to do it right before you graduate high school or college.
Right. It seems weird because it sounds like it's normally you don't get to do it until you have your Keyblade license. Right now you've just got a learner's permit. When you get your Keyblade license, then you can go to the other worlds. Except for before you take the Keyblade test, you do get to just go unsupervised to the other worlds and just do whatever.
Right. Yeah. And we will actually learn some stuff that maybe this is all bullshit.
Yeah, I honestly don't really remember where that goes, but yeah, someone at some point is like, this doesn't seem like it makes any sense. So Odin says, you will be given special permission to travel to the other worlds so that you can search for the upperclassmen. Eraqus and Bragi are very boyishly excited, and I think they literally fist bump, but it's hard to tell because of the art style.
Yeah, I think I might have missed that.
You know, I don't want to bang on too much about the way that this shit looks and how it's bad, but this was... I don't know, maybe I felt this during Union Cross stuff, but I think this is the most that I've ever been frustrated with the way that characters look in this, because it's really hard to read their emotions, which seems like a big problem for Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because it's like, I don't know what anyone's really feeling unless the writing is really clear, and it often isn't really.
Or if there's literally tears coming out of their face. Like, they've got these little tiny mouths that are like it's almost the same color as their skin. Like, you can't see their mouths very easily. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, and and I'll admit too that I feel like I'm not paying as much attention to these characters because I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I know these characters don't matter. I know literally only Eraqus and Xehanort matter.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe Damo will do the Dark Road fan dub, and then the voice acting will really turn it around. I don't know.
That would help. That is a missing element.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't. You don't know what you have till it's gone. You know.
Yeah. So, Erd and Hermod, who, whatever. If you don't know who the characters are, it literally doesn't matter. But they're like, you guys shouldn't be fist bumping. People are in danger. And Xehanort, again, this isn't the Xehanort that we know. He's a nice little boy, and he's like, I don't want to just sit around hoping everyone is safe. I would feel better getting out there and searching for them and helping them if they're in danger. Vore, who is the nice-looking girl, she worries about Baldr, because she's like, why isn't he here? Is he okay? And Odin says he has a different task. Oh my god, again, on the subject of Keyblade Master teachers being kind of shitbags, I gave Baldr a different task. He's not coming. And then he just kind of like leans in and is like, because one of the missing students is Baldr's older sister, I haven't told him about it.
Yeah, that's cool. It would be better if he found out at a different time that's like an uncontrolled environment. That'd be way better.
Why would... He's like starting to be secretive about it. He's like, I gave him a different task. Because I don't want... I'm keeping it secret from him.
They're all so bad at this.
Yeah. What a cool guy.
Yes, I would love... They just want all their students' hearts to fall to darkness and to blame their masters for it.
Oh shit, maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
Also, this is Dennis watch. I think Odin is Dennis.
Oh, you think Odin is Dennis? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because we saw like an old man die on the beach, and this is the only old man we've seen.
There can only be one old man at a time, so this has to be Dennis. God. Well,
yeah. There should only be one old man at a time. That's what I think.
We don't know much about Odin just yet, so I wouldn't rule it out. But yes, it's true. 1% of the men have 99% of the age in Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
A short time later, Odin...
That's an interesting way to put that, but yeah.
It's true. A little bit of time passes. Odin gives them a little briefing off screen, and the students head back to the dock. We learn that Odin is going to split them into two groups because all of the upperclassmen went off on their own. So for safety, the underclassmen are going to be in teams of 3. Eraqus says that they should decide the teams with rock, paper, scissors, which is obviously never going to work because of their little circular hands. So they ask Xehanort what he thinks because he's the only one who has been outside of Scala at Kylum. And this is where we get some really weird left field, like Kingdom Hearts philosophizing.
Mm-hmm. Because
Xehanort says, and I don't know where he knows this, maybe this is something they learned from Odin, but he says that after the Keyblade War, all the worlds, they fell to darkness, but some of them stayed alive through pockets of light from the hearts of children, all that stuff. But they didn't just persist. They all had to restore themselves from the darkness. And each world, based on various factors that are not clear or necessarily important, they all restore themselves at different times and different rates. And he says that is what makes time flow differently from world to world, when and how quickly they were restored after falling to darkness.
Yeah, that's super interesting. And it's kind of interesting this is the first time we're hearing about this.
I guess it's never mattered until now. And you know what? I don't know if it does.
It doesn't...
Actually,
yeah.
It does matter a little bit here, because he says that worlds that are still being restored, their time has either not even started to flow, or it's flowing very slowly, which presumably is why there are 7 different Frances at different points in French history. And he says, Eraqus compares the worlds to people at different points in their lifespan. So a newly restored world is a newborn world. a world that was restored a long time ago is an adult world. Xehanort kind of just moves past that because it doesn't really matter.
Right, yeah.
He says the point is, we need to be careful what we say and do while we're outside of Scala ad Caelum. I don't know how that's the point from what he was saying.
Yeah, me neither.
We kind of circle back to what he was getting at, though, because Erd is like, well, also, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing any of these names wrong. I looked up how they would be pronounced in Norse mythology, but I don't remember. Erd says, well, the important thing is that we respect the order of any world that we visit. And Xehanort says, well, in a world equivalent to a newborn, the order doesn't exist yet. And Hermod says, are you suggesting that a newly restored world can have its rules changed or set by an outsider? And I think that what they're getting at is that what if the upperclassmen went to newly restored worlds and saw an opportunity to just, like, start writing the laws of the world?
Yeah. Or they're just bringing up the idea that you could do that, which I guess could, this is the Xehanort origin story. It could be like, this is why he ended up wanting to reset the world with Kingdom Hearts, because then he can set the rules.
Oh, that's interesting, and I think you actually are probably right. That is very similar to what he was trying to do with Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
It is interesting. We never really... Obviously, we're never going to see this, because, like, we know that Wonderland in Kingdom Hearts 1 is ruled by the Queen of Hearts, but it is really interesting to imagine, like, what if one of the older Keyblade students went to Wonderland and just, like, killed the queen and was like, I'm in charge now, motherfuckers?
It'd probably be better.
That would be better. Although, hey, we've got more.
She's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a weird logistical thing of this video, is that you're always in a party with... You play as Xehanort, if that wasn't obvious. You're always in a party with Eraqus, and you have a third person with you. It doesn't really make a difference at any point who that third person is. And I guess that Everglow was like, well, let's just have some variety. So we're gonna be changing third party members as we go. I tried to avoid mentioning who the character was that's with them unless I really had to, because it is a little bit confusing.
Yeah, I think there only ends up being like one time that matters because one of them like explicitly asks to come along.
Yes, which is hilarious because you are prompted, so you can just go, no, and it doesn't affect anything.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
good.
They all put on their armor. We get to see their armor. It looks like armor. They first go to Agrabah. They are attacked by Heartless, and when they arrive in the town, they notice that it's completely empty, and Xehanort guesses that people must be the last thing restored to a world. So this is like, Agrabah hasn't fully woken up yet. There's the land and there's the buildings, but nobody is here. Weird.
Yeah.
Kind of interesting. It doesn't really go anywhere.
No, it just seems to be kind of just building out more of this theory about how the worlds are like a blank slate when they first start.
Mm-hmm. So Eraqus notices something unusual, which is there are emblem Heartless, which we know from the older games were created in the experiments of Apprentice Xehanort when he made the artificial Heartless, and he marked them with the emblems. But they're here, and they shouldn't exist yet. And we don't really get a clear picture on, like, what their understanding of this is, but he says, like, those Heartless were first seen in projections of the distant future, so they shouldn't exist right now. And Xehanort says, well, that might be a clue.
Clue to what? I don't know.
I don't know either. I honestly don't remember if this is ever explained, but maybe it will be.
The only thing that made me think was like, are they actually not going to the real worlds right now? Are they going to holographic projections and thinking they're going to the real worlds?
Please God, no. No more data. No more data.
Oh, but it's always data though.
It is always data. It's a video game. It's always data. It has to be data. They do more fighting with more Heartless. This is another scene where Eraqus is like, if I fought a scary boss, I would run away. So that's more of that. There you go.
Yeah, what are we doing?
I guess that this is just like a very sledgehammer style writing just to establish Eraqus has a long way to go.
Right. I guess it's to later give you a cool moment where he's like, no, I'm not running away.
Yeah, the ProZD video of Benji-kun after he stops pooping his pants.
Yes, that's right.
The Eraqus you knew is gone. I won't run away anymore.
I mean, that's probably exactly it. I think we figured it out.
Yeah. After what we have to imagine is a lot of grinding and gacha, they return to Scala ad Kylum having accomplished absolutely nothing. They share their findings with the other trio. Blah, blah, blah. The important thing here is that they're like, some of those Heartless were tough for the three of us, so even an older student could have been in danger if it was 1v Heartless. So Eraqus and Xehanort agree that they shouldn't report back to Odin until they find at least more information, if not the other students.
Right.
Eraqus says something else about running away.
Yeah, it's kind of... Yeah, I guess they're just bringing up the idea that, oh, these Heartless are pretty tough, and that's maybe why we're not finding the missing wielders, and that's fine, I guess.
Yeah. They all as a group are like, okay, the upperclassmen, they're older, they're wiser, they're stronger. They would have gone prepared to fight. We need to be ready to fight. Let's go. They suit up again. They prepare to head out. 4 years later, on a rainy night in Scala ad Kylum, an older Xehanort leaves flowers on 4 graves in the Scala ad Kylum cemetery. Whoop!
Yeah. Yep, I'm pulling my collar.
Oh boy. And Eraqus comes up to Xehanort and says, "Are you leaving?" And Xehanort says, "Yes." And Eraqus says, "What happened wasn't your fault." Oh boy. It wasn't your fault. It was mine. You know how I love killing Keyblade wielders in training.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, Eraqus, you might be wrong. What I know about Xehanort, it might really be his fault.
Yeah, well, we do not find out what happens to them in this part. Obviously, it's the beginning of the game. Xehanort says, I want to see more of the world before my exam. Eraqus says, well, the exam's not for a while, and also, you've seen a lot of the world. We went on an adventure 4 years ago, remember? And Xehanort says, well, I haven't seen enough. And he refuses to elaborate. Of course, we know from Remind that he will go on another tour of the world and meet the Master of Masters at some point soon. But that has seemingly not happened yet. And Eraqus says, well, you gotta come back safe because I'm at 117 wins, 312 losses, and 8 draws. And Xehanort says, actually, it's 107, 322, and 7. Ha 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 ha. These guys are fucking nerds.
This is where they really hammer home that they are Sora and Riku.
That's true. Oh my god, that is exactly what Sora does in Kingdom Hearts 1.
Mm-hmm. I think that's intentional.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but yeah, Sora losing the race again and going, oh man, now the score's 117 to 312.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you're definitely... The game is telling you you're one of those guys that sits there and gets his ass beat by Riku for hours so that you can power level.
Yeah, this is a cute moment, though, because we learn that Eraqus was just trying to get Xehanort to turn around and like say goodbye properly. And he's like, haha, I got you to turn around. And Xehanort smiles and says goodbye, and then Eraqus looks sad.
Yeah.
Episode 2, The Presence of Darkness. We got more Xehanort narration. He says, I never thought about who I was until I started to wonder who other people were. And basically he thinks, like, you know, my monotonous life that I left on the Destiny Islands, did I just trade it for another monotonous life in Scala ad Kylum? It's just the same thing every day. And he says that eventually he started to wonder if the problem was not where he was, maybe the problem was him.
Well, yeah, Xehanort, I think you might be depressed.
I think you might need to see a therapist. There's a really good one named Sora.
You might just need to... Yeah, they don't have therapists in this world, for sure.
Definitely not.
Mickey Mouse just thinks you need to, like, blast their heart with light or something.
Master Odin, can you cut my heart open with your Keyblade and see what's going on in there? Okay.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'll just disconnect your sad memories, and, that'll be fine.
I'm a wizard.
Oh, you got a little darkness
memories
in here. There's a little bit of darkness in here. I'm gonna scrape that out, and you should be good.
He cuts his heart open with the Keyblade, sticks his head in, and goes, "Well, there's your problem. Someone filled this thing with darkness."
That's gonna set you back. Oh boy.
Anyway, he narrates about how he's sad and he thinks, everything, a person's heart can be changed in so many ways, by light or by darkness. And then we go back, we're in Wonderland now. We're with Bragi this time, and Bragi is teasing Eraqus about how he's always late and he's always running away. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ding.
Xehanort says, we're being watched, and the Cheshire Cat shows up and says some cryptic stuff, and says some more cryptic stuff, and then disappears and reappears and says some more cryptic stuff. And then the cards arrive and says, you're causing a ruckus. We're going to kill you for that. The cards say something about more intruders. So they follow the cards and find it's their friends who are being tried for criming. It's Hermod, Vore, and Erd being charged with disturbing the peace. And Hermod is like, we are trespassing, that part's true, but we were actually defending the peace because we were fighting monsters. And the Queen of Hearts is like, what does she say? She's like, I'm the queen, everything here is my way, everything is obeying my rules, which means that those are my monsters you're fighting.
Yeah, which is pretty
funny.
Think actually just straight up true, too.
Yeah. Eraqus has an Aqua moment, and he's just like, we gotta save our friends, pulls out Keyblade, I'm gonna kill that lady.
Is this before or after she farts a bunch of darkness and looks really happy about it?
I think that happens right here. Oh, because Xehanort is like,
great.
Well, we can't just run in and start attacking the people who live here just because they have rules that are different from ours. I like that he's already jumped to the conclusion that the rules are different here, when it's like, I mean, I think the real problem is that 3 people with weapons showed up and started just, like, attacking stuff.
And then the other problem is that you've got a crazy person that beheads people for doing things that annoy her.
Yes, well, that part is true.
I don't know if that's like... I don't know if that's like rules of the universe, Xehanort. That's the rules of one crazy lady.
Yeah. I like, though, they run into the trial and interrupt it, and Xehanort is like, they should be judged by a jury of their peers.
I did love that, and I was really worried that these like epic defenders of democracy were going to win with their facts and logic, but that is not what happens.
The queen is like, well, I'm the queen. I do whatever I want. I'm in charge. Whatever I say is true. Eraqus says, please, can't you show them mercy? You're not just a bully who rules with fear, are you? And she says, my subjects adore me. Don't you, subjects? And we just pan across all of the cards, like shaking with terror. I thought that was a good gag.
Yeah, the hare or the rabbit is there also, and he's like quivering.
Yeah.
Yep. That's good.
She says the line, off with their heads, get them, you fools. And then this is where Xehanort looks at the queen and sees that she has farted out a big cloud of darkness.
Yeah, and she loves it.
She does love it. I guess that normally we see people like the person is coated in darkness. I think that maybe it's like behind her to raise the question of like, ooh, is this like one of the darknesses? Because it's not just that she's corrupted. It's like there's darkness here.
Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's just trying to be ambiguous or if it's just not. Yeah, because I think that normally they would be coming out of her directly.
Yeah. It's also possible that it's a bug.
Yeah.
It's also possible that the game is busted. No, everything is. Everything's on purpose. Everything's important. Everything means something.
If you want to be charitable, the thing that it kind of ends up looking like is that she's standing in front of the throne, and the darkness is actually sitting in the throne. Ah,
that's cool. That's some season 8 Game of Thrones shit. The dragon attacks the throne because it knows that it's a metaphor.
Yeah, every game developer should study this one shot. This one shot of her smiling while there's a fart cloud of darkness on her throne.
Giant Heartless shows up and starts attacking the cards, and the queen and the white rabbit just sort of like quietly evacuate in a way that looks very funny.
It's good that I love that she's going to do this again too.
Yes, this will happen a second time later. They have a boss fight. The 6 of them all return to the forest together, and Hermod is like, I never imagined that things could be this bad in the worlds, and I'm not talking about the Heartless. Hey!
Ugh.
I don't get no light.
I will pause and say it It is surprising there are so many Heartless on all these new worlds, to me at least.
Yeah, I think they say something when they're in Agrabah that's like, it seems like until the world like really finds its footing, the Heartless kind of have free reign. I don't know. Yeah, it is weird though, because in Kingdom Hearts 1, the fact that there are Heartless in the world is like very unusual and imminently important.
Yeah, because somebody has to come in and break the gummy barrier. You know, someone has to go into the heart of the world and do something to like let the Heartless even start coming in, right?
Yeah, so I guess that, you know, again, maybe this is part of the story. It's like, why are the Heartless here? They shouldn't be.
Yeah, maybe those don't exist yet. Maybe Eraqus hasn't invented the barrier yet. I don't know.
I think that was a Scrooge invention. No, not really. So Hermod says, like, maybe if the darkness that's in people's hearts is the real enemy, maybe it's not our place to interfere, because the order of this world is based around a queen with a corrupted dark heart who rules with fear. And Erd says, I think that's right. Just because it's bad to us doesn't give us the right to throw this world into total disarray, which is... We're doing Kingdom Hearts moral relativism?
Yeah, there's no such... Yeah, who could say what's right or wrong? Beheading could be a good thing. Did you ask them if they wanted their heads?
This is a world where everyone's like, I hate my head!
Yeah, she's actually helping them.
Thank you, Your Majesty!
Yeah, this is what I mean. You were saying, like, oh, there's some, like, interesting moralizing, but, like... You needed a better example, I think, for me to be on board.
We did start with one that's kind of very weird. It's an interesting idea, at least.
Yeah. And, like, I guess the tough thing is there really aren't a lot of... It takes a while for Disney to do villains that are, like, quote-unquote sympathetic. So it is a little tough.
I don't know. I think, you know, Heavy is the head that wears the crown. I think that she's probably sad, the Queen of Hearts.
Oh, yeah, she's just doing... The queens only do this when they're distressed.
I bet that after the trial, she goes home and just cries herself to sleep.
Yeah, if somebody maybe just gave her a little treat or a little pet, she might not do this, but this is where we're at.
When are they going to celebrate my unbirthday? Eraqus worries that maybe what happened to the upperclassmen is that they were in similar situations in other worlds where they had been captured by the rulers of the worlds, and they were reluctant to disrupt the order by trying to defend themselves, so they all just got beheaded or something.
Maybe. It is weird that the upperclassmen are apparently way weaker than these underclassmen.
Well, they've got the numbers advantage.
Yeah, true. And Odin does think they're strong enough to go do this.
Yeah.
So they might be a special class.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't really know anything about the upperclassmen just yet. So Eraqus notices that Xehanort is just kind of standing off to the side, totally lost in thought, and he like pulls Xehanort aside and is like, hey, do you think that the upperclassmen might have gone missing because of someone corrupted by darkness? And Xehanort suddenly remembers a little flash of Brain on the hill with Eraqus, Skuld, and Ventus saying, darkness can hide anywhere, even inside someone. And he and Eraqus say those words out loud at the exact same time, and they're both surprised and confused as to why that just happened.
Yeah, that was crazy. This is because Xehanort having some bleed through, I'm like, okay, well, that's been happening to him, and he also has done weird time travel, and there's maybe reasons that this is happening to Xehanort, but why is this happening to Eraqus?
Stay tuned.
Yeah. Are we gonna find out that, like, they're all reincarnations of different
they're all
dandelions?
Dennis.
Like, they're all Dennis. Well, I was like, maybe Xehanort's Ephemer or something. I don't know. Although we saw Ephemer in Kingdom Hearts 3. I don't know what's happening.
Hermod interrupts and is like, hey, can we get back on track? Xehanort says, I could feel darkness in the queen's heart. I'm worried that she might force our hand. Well, don't go back there then.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I don't really. I mean, actually, yeah. I was going to say I don't remember why they hang out here. I do, and it actually really is because Xehanort just can't stop poking it.
Yeah.
You know?
Eraqus, though, he has his first, like, this is the Eraqus that we know from Birth by Sleep moment, because he says, I believe that people are fundamentally good. light is the natural way of people's hearts, and I think that there is light in the queen's heart. So Eraqus is a light boy. He's always been a light boy. He loves light.
Mm-hmm.
Can't get enough. The others suggest that they get back to searching other worlds, and Eraqus again like steps aside with Xehanort and says like, "Hey, are you all right? You seem weird. You're a weird guy." And Xehanort's like, I keep thinking about the queen insisting that her subjects love her, and I'm wondering, is it possible that someone's heart could be so corrupted by darkness that they wouldn't even know that they were corrupted? Which is an interesting thought, considering Xehanort. And he says, I wonder if I saw someone corrupted by darkness who might not even understand that had happened to them, could I turn my Keyblade on them? And Eraqus says, I don't know if I could do it. And Xehanort says, well, someday one of us might have to do that.
Well, guess what, Eraqus? You're going to do it a bunch.
You're going to do it 3 times in Birth by Sleep.
And it's not going to work. It's not going to work out.
No.
Yeah, I like this stuff's okay. And I like actually the wording Xehanort has is fun too, which is could darkness burrow in so deep you don't even.
Yeah, this is I think where Dark Road is so far at its best, is just seeing Eraqus and Xehanort and having some dramatic irony because we know what happens.
Yeah.
Vore, who I will remind you again is the nice girl that people think might be Kyrie's grandma. We can start knowing who Vore is because she's going to be in it for a bit. She says, "Oh, what are you two talking about?
How is she going to be Kyrie's grandma when she ends up in one of 4 graves?" Unless I've been tricked.
Can I just say,
graves.
I think I'm glad you caught that, because I remember watching Dark Road and hearing that theory and being like, how do people think that?
Yeah, and maybe I'm gonna learn some more later.
Well, there's
right
plenty
now,
of story to
she's
come.
Dead. Yeah.
But yeah, Vore kind of sees them whispering to each other, and she's like, what are those two up to? So she ends up like insisting that she tag along with them for the next episode. Again, I'm pretty sure that you can just say no, but we do see the cutscenes where she does follow them around. But for now, what's going on? Hermod says, let's keep searching, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Eraqus says, I'll stay behind with Xehanort. If it's just 2 of us, we'll be able to keep a lower profile. And Vore is like, actually, I think that I should stick around with you. And yeah, this is one of those moments where I'm like, I can't tell like what expression this little chibi character is supposed to have, but I think we're supposed to get the sense that she's suspicious of the 2 of them, which it turns out is correct.
Concerned. Yeah.
4 years later, this is after Xehanort said goodbye to Eraqus in the cemetery. He returns to Wonderland. He has slightly longer, slightly cooler hair, and he says, hello, the Queen of Hearts. I'm trespassing and disturbing the peace. What are you going to do about it? Have you forgotten me? And she says, I don't know who you are. But then he sees the darkness around her, and there's more of it this time, and he says, I knew it. And that's the end of the flash forward.
Does this imply that they couldn't see the darkness the first time?
Maybe.
Because that's the thing that's not always clear to me, is what are we getting to see as the audience, and what do they all get to see?
I'm willing to imagine that he was like sensing it before, but now he can actually see it. I don't know,
because he's gotten stinkier with darkness at this point. Now he can see it.
Yeah, or maybe like he has in the past 4 years he's leveled up his darkness sensing stats.
You have to get one of the bangles, I think, to do that.
No, Odin gave him a bangle. No, the bangles can't come back in Dark Road. No more bangles.
Yeah, I would take bangles over Data, I think, almost any day.
Anyway, episode 3, the purpose of the bangles. No! Episode 3, the purpose of the journey. Xehanort remembers when he left the Destiny Islands. And this is where we see that he didn't just go into a portal and then appear in Scala at Kylum. He did have to walk through the realm of darkness, which, as we know, is not too good for your heart.
Yeah, it's almost like maybe darkness could have burrowed in so far that you didn't even know it was there.
What? This is kind of interesting because he's like, I could hear like angry whispers of negative emotions. I couldn't understand them, but I felt hate and jealousy for the first time in my life. And someday I would understand that those feelings belonged to people I had yet to meet, and some of them were even directed at me.
Yeah, that's crazy. Time traveling emotions is quite the concept.
Yeah, is that what it's saying? Is that the realm of darkness has like all of the hate that will ever exist? Possibly,
yeah. Or this could just be a thing that can happen to Xehanort because of how much he's fucked around with time.
Maybe. Ooh. Alternate theory, and I don't think this is it, but I'm going to say it anyway. What if capital D darkness is part of the darkness in the realm of darkness, and darkness has read the book of prophecies and is able to transmit future hatred at Xehanort that is about Xehanort?
Could be.
I don't think that's
this is... I don't know what it is, but it's a cool idea.
It is a cool idea.
And it is, this is where I started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, Xehanort's story is weird because he's in like a weird closed time loop in some ways where he's his own origin in a lot of ways, and it is like what's the event that set him off to do this stuff in the first place?
See, that is an interesting question, and I think that we can maybe assume based on Remind that it is the Master of Masters.
Right.
Because it does feel like, yeah, like you said, closed loop, like his fate of being evil led him to make himself evil. It is a depressing life to think about.
Yeah, right, because like it kind of seems like this, when Stinky Bag of Xehanort showed up and then gave him a portal to go into, him going into the portal and getting some darkness in his heart right there sealed his fate to do everything else he was going to do.
Yeah, and what choice did he have but to go through the portal, because he was stinking the place up so much from his bag that you would do anything to get away.
Yeah, you can't stay by that bag.
We know that darkness stinks.
And I, yeah, and we do know it stinks. Mostly just to Riku, I think, but it's anyway. So it is weird, I guess, because it, but he meets Master of Masters after this. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but again, it's like time loop stuff. So, if you think about it, okay, this is hard. This is going to be really hard to say out loud. But somewhere on the loop had to be an inciting incident that pushed him toward the path that led to him going back in time and making himself become evil later. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or I guess it is possible that we are dealing with a little bit of like alternate timelines too.
We have started to get into that. I'm not thrilled about it, but we have.
Yeah. But then again, but his does seem to be fairly close, because it's like he travels to the past because his future self tells him to travel to the past.
Yeah, it is funny to hear it described as a closed loop, and then I am just picturing the Xehanort diagram from the Ultimania that has all the branching paths and arrows bouncing all over the place. But in the end, it is a closed loop.
Well, I mean, it's a well, yeah. I guess maybe it's more of like a Mobius strip or something.
It's 10 closed loops that all intersect.
Yeah. You start drawing on the paper and your pen never leaves the paper until it joins back together.
Yeah, come to think of it, this is basically what the Kingdom Hearts Unraveled was about.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Xehanort thinks about the negative emotions that he's feeling, and as he's feeling them, he wonders, would I be able to stand being the focus of emotions like this in someone else's heart? And those thoughts made darkness begin to grow in his own heart.
We get a zoom in of the darkness in the little corner of his heart.
Yeah, it seems like you shouldn't go into the realm of darkness.
It's bad.
It's not good. But eventually he came across a portal back into the light, and he thinks to himself, I wouldn't understand until much later that walking through a place like this, one's heart can't help but be drenched in the darkness. But those foul emotions gave me comfort by showing that my heart could still feel, which is a little ambiguous, because it could mean that walking through the darkness, he felt himself losing emotion. Or it could mean that he was like... I think he's suggesting that he has been so depressed on the island that this is like the first he's felt in a long time.
Yeah, because he says emptiness, more terrifying than darkness.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean Xehanort's story ends up being a story about a dude with depression who doesn't recognize it, so he becomes Hitler.
We're back in the forest. Vore asks Eraqus what he and Xehanort were planning. She says, let me in on it. She starts literally throwing a tantrum, like swinging her arms around.
Well, this is at least a way for us to kind of know what her emotion is.
Yeah. But honestly, like, that's kind of what it all needs to be, because the characters are so hard to read. They need to be doing big animations like this for me to be able to tell. That's, yeah. This is like the most characterized we've had anyone.
It's like... Yeah, they need to like recognize that they're on a stage, they're not on screen
exactly.
or whatever. Like you need to go bigger.
Not to mention, don't forget, this is a fucking game for phones.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, I think it was originally a browser game when it was Japan only, but like I can't imagine trying to watch all of this on your phone and like see the emotion on these characters' tiny little cartoon faces.
Just miserable, but it is shocking to find out how many people watch basically everything on their phones.
That's true. Sometimes I forget about that. So they start to explain their plan to Vore, but they are very quickly interrupted by Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Hey, they're in this. Wow. Great. Xehanort immediately gets fed up with their antics and tries to leave.
As he should.
You know what?
I don't know who likes these clowns, but it's sure not me.
It's not me either. I've never even seen Alice in Wonderland. I will say, this is... finally some like characterization, because we see that Xehanort is like, he has no patience for these two, and they're like, oh, but don't you want to know about what happens to the curious oysters? And Eraqus is like, oh, come on, Xehanort, let's hear them out. That's pretty funny.
It is funny, yeah, and even though I'm very much with Xehanort here.
Well, thankfully we fade to black and skip whatever story they're telling. We just see the others, or the Keyblade people, walking away afterwards, and Eraqus is just like dwelling on the story. He's like, it sucks that we never learned what happened to Father William in the story, and Vore's like, I'm just glad they stopped talking to us. That's funny. I'll hand it to him on that one.
That is funny.
So Eraqus and Xehanort like argue about which one of them is more recklessly curious, which relates to the themes of the story that we skipped over, I guess. And Vore is like, you're both recklessly curious. And Eraqus says, well, my curiosity gives me the courage to dive into the unknown, which feels like it's kind of going completely against everything that we've been told about Eraqus this whole time.
Yeah, you're the running away from stuff guy, not the diving into the unknown guy. I think you're thinking of Xehanort.
Yeah. Also, like, he's proudly running away. He brags about running away.
Yeah, he's Joseph Joestar.
That's right. We skip ahead a little bit. Vore is still roasting Eraqus when they hear some clatter and run off to investigate. It's the Mad Hatter's tea party. The White Rabbit's watch has broken, I guess. There's also the March Hare, who I've never heard of, but I'm sure is in the movie.
I think so. It's been a long time since I've seen that thing.
This is what happens when you exclusively consume Alice in Wonderland through Kingdom Hearts 1. Is you see a new character in Dark Road and you're like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, I don't remember it all that fondly. I mean, stuff from that era is not always great. I don't know. Maybe that's not fair, but I don't really remember it that fondly.
Yeah. You know what, though? I'm looking at my notes on this scene, and it is completely pointless, and nothing happens. So let's just move on.
Yeah.
So I guess what this culminates in is that they are walking through the forest some more after leaving the party, and Vore is like, wow, everybody here is as like erratic and nonsensical as the queen. And Xehanort disagrees, because he's like, the people here who aren't the queen are weird and nonsensical and hard to follow, but the queen is order. It's it's a corrupted darkness order, but she has total consistency within her own world. All that she cares about is maintaining power through fear, which is true.
Which is, I don't know why that's good, Xehanort.
I don't know if he thinks it's good. He just thinks it's true, which I guess it is. Vore says the people living here don't seem like they're afraid, and Eraqus says, well, maybe their fear manifests in ways that don't read to us as fear. And then Vore kind of just changes the subject and is like, I know why you're here. You wanted to stay and investigate the darkness that the queen is corrupted with, which is not the point of why Odin sent us out.
Right.
They kind of just immediately are like, yeah, please don't tell Master Odin. Oh, I think Eraqus is like, we think that the darkness is the key to finding the upperclassmen. And Vore's like, well, that's fine.
Yeah, it is a weird point to make, as it doesn't seem like they're just doing it for no reason. Like, they think it's important to understand this so they can help out.
Yeah, although it's still unclear how they think this is going to help. They just are like, I don't know, if we figure this out, maybe we'll figure something else out. We don't even know where they are.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it makes sense to me, because it's like they know like absolutely nothing at this point, so might as well at least try to track down this mystery.
I do have one piece of advice for them if they're looking for the upperclassmen. Ask the people here any questions at all. Hey, have you seen someone with a key like this? No? Bye!
No, they just want to get annoyed by their stories and move on.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is what we saw a whole lot of in Birth by Sleep, is them being like, Ventus is like, hey, have you seen a big guy who looks stupid and has a key? And they say no, and he says, okay, I'm going to have to attack you now.
And it all worked out.
Those are advanced investigation techniques that have yet to be invented.
Yeah, Eraqus is going to invent them during this game. Ooh,
now there's an idea. So, yeah, Xehanort says the reason that they wanted to do this, just the two of them, is that they're really, like, investigating the unknown here, and they didn't want to get anyone else in trouble if this goes badly. He's like, the queen, I don't know if she is the source of the darkness, or if she is, like, possessed by the darkness. Does she know that there's darkness? And if she is possessed by darkness, is it possible that we could become vessels too? And Vore's like, well, let's go find out. And they blah, 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 Cheshire Cat, blah, blah, blah. They get back to the queen.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, it's just funny that I think you're maybe getting more fed up with this as we go along.
I'm also being corrupted.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's stuff here that is fun to watch, but a lot of it is not so fun to talk about.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think it was all that much fun to watch, frankly.
They return to the queen, and I do like this part, because Xehanort is like, hello, we're just here to talk, and she's like, fuck you, and then Eraqus is like, please, your majesty, we respect your authority as the ruler of this world, and she's like, okay, and Xehanort says, great, can we ask you some questions? And she says, fuck you, I just want to talk to this guy.
The guy that respects me.
That's right. So Eraqus says, I do love that he kind of like earns some points and then immediately throws them away when he's like, is it possible that your heart might not be your own? And she's like, how dare you?
It was a weird question to ask.
She's like, I'm the only one here who gives commands. And Eraqus, this is so wild. This Eraqus is like, your majesty, please, I don't believe that your heart is rooted in darkness. I believe that all hearts contain light. And the queen is like, what the hell are you talking about, you weirdo?
I'm the queen of hearts. Shut up.
I'm the only heart. Shut up. And they see the darkness swirling around again. And this is another weird thing that kind of comes out of nowhere, is that Xehanort is like, is the darkness being created by her heart's greed? And she's like, I'm not greedy. I'm angry. And Xehanort's like, wrath then.
Yeah, that was kind of goofy, but I like it.
We have a little flashback, kind of out of nowhere. I guess they kind of tie it together, but we flash back to class with Odin. Baldr's still not here, so I assume that this is the lecture that he gave them right before they left. And Hermod is like, does a person's darkness come from their own innate qualities? And Odin says, sometimes. And in ancient times, the darkness hid inside of people and took control of their emotions, turning them into vessels and spreading darkness far and wide. Bragi says, the darkness sounds like a disease when you put it that way, and Odin says yes. And eventually what happened is it started to grow within hearts all on its own, and that's where the Heartless come from. And Eraqus says, I think it's silly to give them a name. All darkness is darkness, which is a pretty stupid point, Eraqus.
Yeah, I didn't really get what he was talking about there. I mean, yeah, it's useful to have distinctions, buddy.
I refuse to give them the dignity of a name. They're just darkness critters. Whatever.
Yeah, maybe it's a translation thing.
Yeah, maybe. We move on from that. Odin says that darkness manifests from negative emotions like greed, wrath, and envy, which are not emotions. They're 7 deadly sins, but whatever. He says some people are better at controlling those feelings than others. And he says cryptically, over many years, darkness reshaped humans, who we are and what we become.
Yeah, it's that is interesting. Is that true, you think? Do you think that people didn't used to have darkness coming out of their hearts? Because we haven't seen evidence of that.
Maybe. It almost makes it sound like they didn't used to be like weird Disney cartoon characters. They were reshaped into Queens of Hearts.
Oh, is that what he means?
I don't think so.
It's funnier, but yeah, I thought it was kind of like, oh yeah, people didn't used to have darkness generate from their bad emotions, but now they do.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll learn about that in Kingdom Hearts -5.
Yeah, because again, like I said, I think that like you don't really see proof of that in, you know, like the beginning of Union Cross. Like they definitely seems like darkness works the same there as it does through the whole story.
Yeah. That's the end of that flashback, though. The Queen's darkness is getting out of control, and I don't think that we are able to see this, but before it disappears, Xehanort says, I think I saw it smile.
Yeah. I wish I could have seen anything.
Is that trying to imply that this is one of the capital D darknesses possessing the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland?
I think maybe.
Because
yeah.
I don't think we've seen anything like that any other time.
Yeah, I mean, unless, I don't know, unless this is just like a super special darkness that she made in her own heart.
I don't know.
But yeah, probably.
I mean, again, we usually see people themselves are covered in the darkness, but there was darkness like floating behind her. So I don't know, maybe this is a capital D one.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, I thought that they were all accounted for, but maybe not. I guess a bunch of them got trapped with Dennis.
This is sometime later.
Yeah, maybe some of the ones that were trapped with Dennis finally got out.
They escaped from Wreck-It Ralph. The Queen orders them killed again. So a stronger version of the Heartless from before appears. Eraqus and Vore wonder, is this the Queen's darkness? Maybe it's even her will. And again, she just kind of like shuffles out in the background and is like, on her way out, she's like, I'm in control of my heart, assholes!
She really didn't like it when they said that she wasn't.
Yeah, and then they beat the boss, and Vore literally is like, did we learn anything?
No!
I think that when you have the characters say that, that should maybe be a moment where you look up and go, do we need to redo some of this? Because Vore's like, so did we learn anything? And Eraqus says, I feel like we're closer to the truth.
I feel like we're closer to the truth, but really, I just want the weekend to start, you know? I just would really like to.
I just kind of like the color scheme here, and I didn't want to go to another world. Is that so wrong? I do like that they put their Keyblade armor back on and then just like blast off into the sky to return to Scala ad Kylum to save the trouble of creating some new Keyblade motorcycles.
Yeah, they hadn't invented the motorcycle yet. That's another Eraqus invention that's coming.
So yeah, they're back in Scala ad Kylum, all of them now, and they say to the other team of 3, like, we're gonna keep doing what we've been doing, pursuing darkness in the hopes that it will lead us to the upperclassmen. We may have defeated one dark entity, but a single light can cast countless shadows, and as guardians of light, darkness is likely to follow us wherever we go. This is another one of Xehanort's, like, you know, when Eraqus was like, poetic excuses. This is like, well, a light casts a shadow, so a guy who is light will cast a guy who is shadow.
I think that is kind of correct, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is what they said when Aqua was going to attack the Tremaines. They were like, you can't, because it's not really their fault, because Cinderella is so nice that it makes them evil.
Yeah. Yeah, hot ladies make people like lose their minds, and it's not their fault.
Whoa, I'm sorry. Did this just become a manosphere podcast?
Yeah, sorry. I should have told you that I was going to do that, but yeah, that's what we're doing now.
So Bragi says, like, well, if that's true, then the upperclassmen would have attracted darkness too. Erd says, we don't know though. It's like, I feel like we're doing some kind of interesting, like, Keyblade philosophy stuff, but it also feels like so unrelated to anything that's happening, because Erd is like, we know that where there's light, there's darkness, and we became Keyblade wielders because darkness exists, which means that light is essential, but we don't know, does light lead to darkness, or does darkness lead to light? And they kind of just are like, that's an interesting point, Erd. And then they just move on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a question we've been asking the whole time.
It feels like they had an interesting list of questions that they wanted to write down, but they didn't really have a good way of bringing them into it, so they just did it anyway.
Yeah. Oh, they're in school. Maybe they've got a test on this, like, on Tuesday, on dark and light philosophy.
Erd is just like, can we, like, do some study group stuff while we're doing this?
Yeah, I do need to keep my grades up.
They're just, like, wandering.
It's going to be hard when I die.
They're just, like, wandering the forest of Wonderland, just doing flashcards. Holding up a flashcard that says light, and then flipping it over and it says good.
Yeah, they're actually, he's actually going to die because he's too busy looking at his flashcards right when Jack Sparrow, like, stabs him through the heart.
So, yeah, Bragi says, he kind of repeats what they said before, which is like, we don't know if the queen's darkness was her own or if she was possessed. Xehanort says, darkness is darkness. It doesn't really matter. I think that hers came from within her, but either way, who cares? Eraqus says, yeah, it's impossible to tell from the outside. But Xehanort says, the one thing that we definitely learned is that in some worlds, the rule that we have that light is good and darkness is bad doesn't necessarily hold true. Because from her perspective, and Eraqus just interrupts and is like, no, Xehanort, darkness is bad.
Yeah, and I can't come along with Xehanort on this either. It's like, she was the one darkness person and it was only good to her. Everybody else is having a terrible time.
Right. But, you know,
you observed that, I thought.
Maybe what we're seeing is the signs that Xehanort's time in the realm of darkness has kind of opened his heart to the possibility that maybe there's some shades of gray and sometimes darkness is good.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that this could be interesting if they had found a better example.
Yeah.
I just don't think they found a very good example to try this out on.
Well, yeah, because they're going to old Disney movies. It's, yeah, like you said, none of these villains are sympathetic. We're not looking at Jafar and being like, oh, but was he bullied?
Right. Yeah, it was like he was trying to build a better Agrabah or something. I don't know.
Sid was just exercising his creativity, which is true. They should go to Toy Story.
Which is true. I mean, yeah.
Go to Toy Story and be like, maybe we don't need to kill this kid.
And then Aqua pulls out her keyblade and kills the kid.
Yes, we do. He's evil. He has a skull on his shirt, I can tell.
He's evil. It's true. He really lets you know by putting that skull on the shirt. That is a good point.
Eraqus is like, good people don't wear black shirts. Anyway.
Darkness is always bad, Xehanort. Yeah. We have to kill this giant child.
Anyway, Xehanort's like, I'm not arguing that it's not our duty to protect the light. I'm just saying, if the upperclassmen found themselves in a world where order is darkness, then it's possible that they might have been defeated. And Eraqus is getting a little bit heated about this, and Hermod is like, calm down, we're all on the same page here. Let's keep investigating and find the missing students. And we then get a little flashback to 1 week ago. We see Baldr, who is a gloomy-looking boy. He looks like, there's no nice way to say this. He looks demonic.
He's very strange looking.
He has like pure white hair and like, I can't really describe what it is about him, but he just looks evil, but he's not. He's just sad and nice. And he's like kind of looking out to sea by himself, and Eraqus finds him and is like, oh, are you worried about your sister? And he's like, well, when my sister went off for her pre-exam trip, she said that the ones who return will be made Keyblade Masters. And Eraqus is like, oh shit, that's ominous. And Baldr is like, well, this is finally we get to this point that you brought up earlier, which is Baldr says, we've never heard about a pre-exam trip around the worlds, which makes me wonder, is this trip itself the Mark of Mastery exam, or some kind of secret mission from Odin? And he's afraid that his sister is going to die.
Well, I've seen some graves, so it seems like a good fear.
Yeah, we didn't mention it, by the way, but the Scala ad Caelum cemetery is absolutely gigantic.
It's a big place, but also they like to send children on secret missions, so it could be...
I totally forgot. There was an interesting world-building line at the very beginning of this when Eraqus and Xehanort were talking that I totally forgot to bring up, because we see Scala ad Caelum as like, it's like a cluster of gigantic, like, mountainous cities of buildings and windmills. And there was a line at the beginning where Eraqus or Xehanort said, like, all the other towns are abandoned.
Yeah.
So I don't know how far we are in the future from Union Cross, but it does feel, and this would make sense with the fact that by the time we get to Sora's generation, Scala ad Caelum is seemingly totally dead. It feels like we are at, like, the tail end of Scala ad Caelum as, like, a seat of power for Keyblade wielders.
Yeah, does it imply that they've all died, or have they all just, like, gone off to live on different worlds?
Yeah, I don't know. I probably not gone off to live on different worlds because, well, I don't know. I was going to say there aren't that many worlds restored yet, but, of the worlds that we know, they say every star is another world, etc. So who knows how many worlds there actually are? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in Missing Link.
Yeah. It could just be that, Kingdom Hearts is kind of just Star Wars a lot of the time. And this is the old Jedi Order that fell apart, and now they're building
right, Keyblade Masters of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
So
that's what this is.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Eraqus... Oh, yeah, Baldr says, like, I'm afraid that my sister will fall to darkness and never return. And he notices that Eraqus kind of reacts to the mention of darkness and says, oh, sorry, your grandfather died fighting darkness, didn't he? And Eraqus is like, well, I don't really know what happened to him, but he doesn't want to talk about it. We learn that not only does he say, like, light is right, darkness is bad, he seems to, like, actually get anxious about darkness.
Yeah, because apparently he's got some family trauma.
He says that hating darkness might be in his blood.
Yeah, so who's his grandpa, I wonder?
Who's his grampy? Baldr says, I'm sorry for bringing it up. Eraqus says, don't worry about it. Your sister will be just fine. And that's where episode 3 ends. And that's where we're stopping for this week. This was a little bit longer than I intended it to be, but also nothing happens in episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah, there's some, like, interesting conversations, but not a lot goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where it goes. I mean, a lot of these games start slow, so maybe it'll get better as it goes.
Yeah, I hope so. I think so. I think that's what I remember, but it's been a while.
All right.
We've been going for a while. I think we should dive to the wiki, but just a light dive to the wiki.
Yeah, I'll take a dip a toe in the wiki.
Here's something I've had bookmarked for a while.
Oh, I thought we were going to look at the...
This is Kingdom Hearts Superhero Keyblade Taisen.
Oh, boy.
And if you look at the logo, you'll see it's Kingdom Hearts Superhero Keyblade Wars, but it's specifically the Star Wars font.
Yeah, they just slapped the wars from Star Wars down there. Okay.
It is currently a Hold on, whoa, sorry. That is a... that is a fascinating use of the word currently.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts Superhero Keyblade Taisen, aka Superhero Keyblade Wars, is currently, in parentheses, a fan project expected to take place after the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 3 as a bridge between the end of the Darkseeker saga and whatever storyline comes next in official production. Does the word currently mean, like, hey, fingers crossed, maybe we'll get picked up?
Yeah, balls in your court, Disney and Square.
This is a spec script.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Blah, 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 Street Fighter, Mega Man, Power Rangers, Kamen Rider. It was originally conceptualized as an action RPG like the other games in the series, but the creator wants to turn it into a web series similar to Alvin Earthworm's Super Mario Bros. Z, which has a link to its very own fan wiki.
Well, we all know Alvin Earthworm. This is probably some YouTuber that has, 6 million, followers, right?
Well, this appears to be a Flash animation from 2006, so it's entirely possible that I've watched all of this.
Alvin Earthworm was on Newgrounds, and then apparently it's some guy's name on YouTube.
I wouldn't rule out the possibility that in a past life, I have watched all of this.
All right, well,
this is the kind of shit that I would have watched.
They have 166,000 subscribers on YouTube with only 18 videos. Interesting.
Well, they're coming from Newgrounds. Everyone is like, oh, there might be new episodes of Super Mario Bros. Z. I gotta subscribe just in case.
Nope, just gonna put all the old ones here.
Well, I'll have to check those out later. I'm sure they're really good. About a year after Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora, Kairi, and Riku are enjoying a peaceful summer vacation on Destiny Islands. But during a friendly sparring match between Sora and Riku, they are suddenly attacked by an army of villains from many worlds they've never been to before, and are forced to separate once more. Whilst trying to find each other, they team up with many heroes to fight Demonizer, an evil robot empire bent on conquering worlds, killing heroes, and stealing objects of great power for their master. Link to Majin Tyrant.
Ooh.
Oh, hell yeah, we've got a little crayon drawing.
Oh, yeah.
There's trivia on the Majin Tyrant page that says, recent rumors have it that it was Majin Tyrant who pressured Master Eraqus into deciding to kill Ventus for the greater good just to draw out his own darkness and take it to increase his power. Sub-bullet, these rumors are false. Oh, it mentions Dark Road. Let's get out of here.
Oh, no.
I'm actually kind of shocked to learn that there's anything on this wiki that is post-Dark Road.
Well, there's that one person still just making all those articles about swords, so there are still a couple people writing stuff on here.
We do have a list of characters, and there's pictures of all of them with their cool Keyblade armor, and we learned that they have a device called the Kingdom Changer, a self-aware henshin device allowing them to don the outfits of many legendary warriors and use their abilities through this schemata shift system.
Oh, wow, so they're going to, turn into Spider-Man.
Ooh, and if you click on Kingdom Changer, there's a picture of Kairi in a bikini and Riku with a six-pack.
Oh, okay, I'll look at that.
You don't have to.
Those are... Well, no, I do. Okay, those are funnier than I thought they would be. That's great.
Do we have any quotes? That's all we really care about.
Yeah, let's go back. Quotes.
Sorry, in the little sidebar at the top, it says that there are 85 chapters, and if you scroll down to the list of chapters, it's chapters 1 through 17 have names, and then the rest of them are TBD.
This is a long article. Are there quotes in here?
No, there's no quotes.
Well, I'm sorry. Let me read about Majin Tyrant, who is voiced by Andy Serkis.
Okay,
or
classic.
Hideaki Kusaka, apparently.
Okay.
The arrogant, vain, greedy, cruel, violent, wrathful, sadistic, hateful, power-hungry, biased, loudmouth, deceptive, intolerant, psychopathic, unforgiving, fear-mongering, destructive, uncaring, slanderous, fascist, selfish, backstabbing, mass-murdering, genocidal, egotistical, vengeful, pretentious, impatient, insensitive, spiteful, misanthropic, narcissistic, remorseless, unfeeling, stubborn, manipulative, scornful, bloodthirsty, bigoted, unreasonable, hypocritical, derisive, merciless, nihilistic, haughty, abusive, vindictive, and overall terrifying supreme leader of the Demonizer Empire, complete with a god
Majin
complex.
Weatherly.
Yeah, Majin, yeah. Complete with a god complex and absolute hatred for all that is good and decent. I'm sure he did something really bad in that Aikido tournament, too.
Where is that? I don't see that anywhere.
Oh, no, that's the Weatherly thing.
Oh.
Yeah, Janice Weatherly talks about Aikido.
I thought that there was some vandalism here from a certain writer.
No, I'm just deep in Weatherly lore and assume other people know Weatherly lore.
What if I told you that the superhero Keyblade Wars protagonist faction was called the Super Warriors and Allies Guild, or SWAG?
Oh, that's good. I like that.
Sora is the captain of SWAG. I've always said it.
True. All right, I'm just going to finish up reading about Majin Tyrant real quick. He's said to be so irredeemably evil, he truly believes the only way to end the eternal struggle between good and evil once and for all, time is for his forces to control the entire universe and destroy everything and everyone that poses even the slightest potential threat to his goals. So he'll do the sentence isn't over. So he'll do anything to justify the atrocities committed in his name and to make the whole universe abide by his hellish dictatorship. The Majin tyrant must be stopped, no matter the cost. So that's good.
I need some quotes.
No quotes.
Why are there no quotes, you guys?
Well, I can find, if you're thinking about Wish Us Duck, I can go to the Weatherly page again and find a good quote.
We can always fall back on the Weatherlies.
I mean, there is one of my favorite quotes, which is, much to my delight, Bradley McInnes, and that's the whole quote.
I will enjoy grinding your fucking bones to dust when fighting against Melvin Stern, Lena, or Janice Weatherly.
I think we've literally done that already for Wish Us Duck. But I found I found the new one we're going to do for Wish Us Duck. A pity she still stinks like a tilapia, referring to Bonnie Rockwaller.
Yes, true. That is a pity.
Yeah.
And I think Donald Duck did say that, and this is Wish Us Duck, the segment where we try to sound like Donald Duck. What was it? It's a pity she stinks like a tilapia?
I'll put it in the chat. This is from the Warren Weatherly page.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
That's pretty good.
That was one of my best, if I do say so myself.
I'm glad you could do it on such a authentic Donald Duck quote. Okay.
That is a pity.
It's a pity.
Here's another quote from Warren Weatherly. It's no great matter. I'll go to the terrain city to finish off what Lifty and Shifty had started.
Oh, God, I hope this person finally finishes their story, because I gotta get this story.
I hope this person finally writes their story.
Oh, man, apparently Warren Weatherly poses as Drizella Tremaine at some point.
Huh. I don't picture him as really looking much like Drizella Tremaine, if I'm being honest.
It's one of his powers, I think.
It's so sad that his category on the wiki is former heroes.
Yeah, he was doing that as a hero.
Sorry, one last thing.
Uh-huh.
Could you just read the table of contents here? This is an article titled Marley, which is I guess this person's fan name for Sora's Shadow Heartless from Kingdom Hearts 1.
Okay. It took me a minute to figure this out, but I figured it out. Okay. 1, creation. 2, appearance. 2.1, Marley's life. 3, as she walked in, a sign said the Dark Society. If I'm going to make friends, I'd better... Whoosh! Just missed getting ran over. A man with blonde hair came on a motorcycle. Sorry. A man with blonde hair came on a motorcycle. He saw Marley. He took out a shadowy keyblade and commenced to fighting her. She jumped on her sword, then jumped off. So she tried to talk, but the only thing that happened is that her antennae twitched a little. She then took out paper and started to write, "Hello, please don't kill me. I've been there, done that." Zorua then said, "Okay, well, so you can talk to me. I'll go to my friend, Dr. Frinuitz." I think...
Okay, we're going to have to come back and actually read this, because there's some great shit here. Yeah,
this is some My Name is Zephod whatever that we had from earlier on.
Oh, God. Marley, we'll see you another time. All right, for now, we got to wrap this up. Social media, Sounds About Light, Blue Sky, Posy Stress, Blue Sky, your Achilles Dash Heelys, I believe.
That's correct.
There you go. We're on there. Noisespace.xyz. Listen to other podcasts. There's a new episode of Local Service Only, the podcast about The Prisoner. Check that out. Okay, long episode. Sorry.
I don't know how we did it, but we did.
Yeah. And now to do the impression of this version of Xehanort saying Keyblade. I think he sounds like Keyblade. Bye.